Hey now, welcome to Fitzdog Radio. I'm your host, Greg Fitzsimmons, coming to you from the Venice Beach Fitzdog Studios. This is the guest house in the back, and it's a holiday, so I didn't go into the office today. It's Memorial Day. All my support and love to the people in the military that have sacrificed their lives, that have gone overseas and left families behind and kids behind for extended periods of time for us. I appreciate you, and I wish I had a show tonight. I'd let you all in free and I'd buy you a drink, but I don't, so just have a nice day anyway. Just back from Austin, Texas, where I headlined the Mothership, Joe Rogan's club, for the weekend. It was pretty amazing. They've been building this club for 3 years, and it shows. Like, you can feel it. It is such a well-oiled machine. Shout out to Curtis and Adam Egget and all the people over there that are doing an amazing job with the club. Some of them came from LA and moved out there 2 or 3 years ago to set this place up. They converted this beautiful old theater. And there's 2 clubs. I worked both. There's 2 rooms. I worked both of them. Standing ovation in the small one. Whatever. It's no big deal. You just do your thing. You tell your jokes. You see what happens. They were very responsive, very young, cool comedy fans, and hung out with a lot of cool dudes. Shane Gillis and Mark Norman and Ari Shaffir were in town doing that show they do with Joe. So we hung out till 4:30 in the morning there's a speakeasy in the bowels of the Mothership. And it's this cool little bar, and it's just for the comedians and the staff. And like, everybody's on mushrooms. I wasn't, but everybody else was. And it just, the staff is so cool, and everybody interacts. It's there's no drama. And Roseanne came down. I hung out with her. She watched my show. Tim Dillon was there, hung out with him. Me and Jeffrey Ross went out for coffee on Saturday. Had a great hang. I was out so much. And then Adam Egget took me to lunch at a place called Perry's, which is, they've got this pork chop situation that is out of this world. They like soak it in an apple or something sauce, and it's a big, thick chop. And we had this waiter who we had last time. His name is Garrett, and he is world class. He speaks in like a Shakespearean kind of a lilt, and he's a real character. We had a lot of laughs. Egget's doing a great job out there. But, it's a little weird. It's like, it's on 6th Street. I think they call it Dirty 6th or something. But it is bad. And it's just so funny because I live in Venice, and everybody's always talking, oh, how do you live there? How do you live in Venice? Look, I walked out of the back door of the Mothership into an alley behind 6th Street and almost stepped into a giant pool of what looked like blood. There was horse shit on either side of it. There was a junkie laying to the left. He was junk sick. He was vomiting. And then we made a right. And there was this white guy clearly on meth, peeking, rapping into the face of a black guy who was sprawled out in the alley, violently rapping, if you can do that. And at the end of the alley was 4 cop cars with their lights on, arresting somebody. And you just go like, all right, hold on a second. Like, if I was an art director on a movie, I would see that and I'd be like, all right, You're overdoing it. No one's gonna buy this. Dial it back like 7 notches. We're going for the apocalypse here, not the infernos of hell. Just apocalyptic. It's crazy. And again, like, I live in Venice, and it's like, I'm so tired. I went to dinner a couple weeks ago with my friend, and he bought some douchebag OBGYN Beverly Hills asshole who lives in some gated community. And he goes, oh, you live in Venice? Yeah, what, do you live in a tent? And I was like, okay, fuckface. When's the last time you were in Venice? What do you know about Venice? Do you know about me taking a walk in my neighborhood with my wife today and running into like 3 or 4 different neighbors that we had conversations with because we've known for 20 years? Or going down to the beach and checking out the skate park, which is world class, or the white men can't jump basketball courts, or the gallery. How about the gallery behind my house? Or the playhouse behind my house, or the fucking garden that's planted and tended by troubled teens that's blossoming and fucking gorgeous. Or, you know, the restaurant, world-class restaurants. There's little we live on walk streets, and there's little boxes where people leave books where other people can take the books and exchange them. There's a drum circle on Sunday afternoons that goes to sunset on the beach where 50 to 100 people stand around, smoke weed, and bang on drums and dance. Do you have that in your fucking little gated community, douche? Do you even know one of your neighbors' names? What's happened in your world lately? Fucking judge Venice. How about check out my little golf course down the street where all my friends hang out, where there's flat screen TVs and we watch sporting events and play golf and eat great food and as a community. Get out of my face. Anyway, after that little rant, thank you, people that have been writing in. fitzdog@gmail.com. I read and respond to all emails because I care and it means something to me that you write in. Regina Busboom. Busboom? That sounds like Ireland in the 1980s during the Troubles. She says, I love your podcast and seeing your stand-up live, but I also like your TV and book recommendations. I loved My Brilliant Friend. So good. And I had never heard of it. I also enjoyed A Gentleman in Moscow, which is now going to be a show. That's fantastic news. I love that book. Why am I forgetting the writer's name? Oh, shit. My Brilliant Friend was written by Elena Ferrante. She's Italian and it's translated, but the translation works. And that was a TV series that HBO did with aplomb. And they did it. They nailed it. They nailed the characters. They nailed the tone. The haunting, silent moments of adolescent angst. And then watching women blossom into powerful Italian fiery women. And then goes on to say, I want you to know I listen to your podcast for you, not the guest, which is not always the case with other podcasts. By now, I know your guests are very much worth listening to as well. I seldom recognize their name. What? I just had Stephen Wright. I had Zach Galifianakis. I got Pauly Shore coming up next week. I just had Kyle Kinane. Well, come on. Who else do you need? Same goes for Childish and Sunday Papers. I listen because I love the host. Well, thank you so much, Regina Busboom. And this was a nice one. This meant a lot to me. And I get these sometimes. And I especially want to get back to these people. But Brian said, this may sound trivial to you, Greg. However, I feel the need to let you know. A couple years back, I sent you an email when I was at rock bottom. I was so fucking depressed and suicidal. I couldn't take it anymore. I sent you a message saying how appreciative I was for your comedy and podcasts, and you mentioned to me that I should continue to meditate every day as it helps you. I am proud to say I am no longer depressed or suicidal, even after my best friend took his own life. I'm so happy to have gotten your advice, so much so that I've begun meditation classes at the high school I work at, as well as weekly meditation sessions on Friday nights with men and for men around the community, so it could possibly help them as well. This all began with your reply. He goes on, but that means a lot to me. So I'm glad you reached out. And I'm glad that what I said meant something to you. Let's do a couple of overheards and then we'll get to my guests. This is from Fearless Gambino, downtown Seattle, midday weekend, Packed sidewalks full of casuals and street urchins. A family of 6, mom and dad, 4 kids, probably ages 8 to 12. Child says, "What's that guy doing?" Parentheses, man trying to smoke pills off tinfoil on the sidewalk, yelling without a care in the world. Mom pulls her children close and walks faster. He's just taking his vitamins. Yep, that's what he's doing. That's what it is at that point. Those drugs are vitamins. They keep you going. If you stop taking them, you're in a lot of trouble. God, that's what I saw when that junkie was vomiting in Austin. He was junk sick. That's what happens when you can't find a fix. I've been there. No, I haven't. But, I've seen it enough. Kyle Wenzel said in the lift line at Palisades Ski Resort in Lake Tahoe, this was a 20-something guy on skis making conversation with his 2 female friends. Quote, "Did Molly tell you she popped her backcountry cherry?" Ooh. That's what that sounds like. All right, dates coming up. Boston, Massachusetts at Laugh Boston, June 16th and 17th. Again, this will sell out. Get your tickets now at Fitzdog.com. Pottstown, PA at Soul Joel's, July 20th. I don't think that'll sell out. I think you can just walk up on that one. Point Pleasant, New Jersey, Uncle Vinny's on July 22nd and 23rd. Come out and see me on the Jersey Shore. My guest today is a guy who I've known for a lot of years. He's a great stand-up who is also like a very famous writer. And I've written on several shows with him. We wrote on a show for Jamie Foxx together, a couple Jamie Foxx shows, and Affion Crockett. And he's a guy who, I think he wrote some stuff. He was on In Living Color a little bit. He created the Real Husbands of Hollywood, and just directed a film with Tiffany Haddish and Wesley Snipes called Back on the Strip. And we'll talk about that a little bit on the show. He's been on Chris Rock's show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Def Comedy Jam, and created a TV series called White Famous. UCLA alum. And he's written on everything. He's really, he's a great dude. We had a lot of fun talking this past week. Please enjoy my talk with the great Chris Spencer. My guest, Chris Spencer, sits here in the bowels of the Comedy Cellar right now. He's a regular here at the Comedy Store. He's a guy that consistently kills. You can put him in the main room. You can put him in the original room. And his best work is done in the parking lot, where he networks with everybody.
I got kids in private school, so I got to get checks from anywhere I can get a check.
I remember we were out there and you introduced me. It's always somebody. You get people. T.I. comes in and you're like, "Hey, Greg, this is T.I." And I was like, holy shit. And I knew him from Tiny. I was the showrunner on Tiny's show on VH1. Tiny Tonight.
That's hilarious.
And I was just telling funny stories about her being in her trailer.
Anything
it was three women that were the panel on a talk show, mm-hmm. and it was a very it was a prima donna thing of who could come to set last. So we had a union crew sitting there for 1 hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I finally go and I go, "Tiny, what are we doing?" I go, we gotta shoot. She goes, "How am I gonna go out there? My hair's not done." I go, "Well, where's your hairdresser?" "She's getting her nails done."
That's Atlanta for you.
Yeah, right.
You shot out there?
We shot some out there and then some here. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great dude. He loves stand-up.
He's getting good. He's getting good.
And here's what's funny. Like, he was never swayed by the naysayers, which are usually comedians, hating on him because I think he knew, having performed in front of hundreds of thousands, to have 300 people not like you, he's like, I'm gonna figure this out. And so he started off like he had an hour. Yeah, like he has long stories, and he started to shorten those stories and then sprinkle them with funny in between. But he was already interesting. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he had to learn when to be interesting and when to be funny. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be interesting for 20, 30 minutes. You can't have that kind of energy if you have a 5-minute set. Right. And so he wasn't used to doing 5 minutes. So I think he had a lot of problems running lights because he was telling these incredible stories, but they're just long-winded. Yeah, and you can't go long at the store because people got other they got to spot
and then
the word comes around.
Yes,
and the word spreads.
Yeah, right. So did you help him at all? Did you I
didn't give him any structure. I just told him some of these things like, yo, you're running a light. What light? Yeah, that red one that says "Get the fuck off." Ti. That one.
The other comics don't give a fuck who you are or how big you are.
No, you're big until you're running into my time.
Yeah, right.
But then he started to understand, okay, because a lot of people didn't tell him about the light. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was just talking and enjoying himself. Yeah. And he's gotten really, really, really funny, man.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So where did you start?
Right here.
Did you really?
My first open mic was in this room.
No shit.
This club.
How many years ago?
What is this? 1989 or 90?
We started the same year.
Yeah. Yep. Me and Sully McCullough.
No shit.
Going to UCLA together. He came to do open mic. No, he actually got in at the Laugh Factory. I didn't get in when he signed up. And so my first time on stage is in that OR room right there.
Wow. Most comfortable room.
Okay, so here's what's funny about my Comedy Store history. I never really worked here back then. Every now and then I would do Fat Tuesdays, which was Guy Torrey's room in the main room. Yeah. They had a black night. Yeah. Which started in the belly room first. And then I was more a Laugh Factory improv guy. I was a monologist. I had on a suit jacket. I wanted to be the Seinfelds and the George Wallaces and that look. I wasn't like the Comedy Store were crazy comedians. Carlos Mencia, Eddie Griffin, Sam Kinison, Dice. Right. Like that wasn't me. I was more clean cut, collegiate, had a degree from UCLA. Yeah. And so that wasn't me. So I didn't come back here. I would come back and forth for doing Fat Tuesdays or other little rooms. Crack 'em up Thursdays. Black people always put a little adjective. Fucked up Wednesdays. Chocolate Sundays, which I helped create. Did you host that? I created that. Oh, yeah, co-created it with my childhood friend Pookie Wigington. And then
who?
His name is Leland Pookie Wigington.
Love it.
Yeah, he was a hell of an athlete. So they give you a nickname when you're good. Yeah. So he was really good. But I didn't come back here for years. Yeah. And one time I was here 10 years ago, Eleanor was like, how come you don't call in for spots anymore? I was like, I don't know. She's like, you used to be a Comedy Store regular, right? I was like, eh. Yeah. She's like, you weren't? I go, eh. She said, what are you talking about? Your name's on the wall. I go, eh. She's Chris, I used to see you all the time. I said, yeah, that was for the black stuff. Yeah. I was here for that and every now and then an occasional showcase, but not. She's like, oh my God, just start calling in for spots. And she told Tommy that Chris is back. I started getting spots, got my name on the wall. So I owe my being here to Eleanor Kerrigan.
No shit.
Mitzi did not pass me in about 9 tries.
Wow. Yeah, I came in once and they said I had to audition. I'd been in New York and Boston. I'd been doing it for 12 years. Letterman spots, half-hour special. They didn't give a shit. They're like, you got to audition for Mitzi. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. So I never worked here. Not until Adam Egan got here.
Really?
I'm not going to fucking audition for somebody at that point. I just...
You were kind of special.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, people knew you. So I can understand. I'm going to go 3 minutes for a comedy club owner. And there's all these other clubs. And you were on the road already.
So when did you start going on the road, leaving LA?
So I have my whole stand-up thing is weird. So I was doing the smaller rooms, and all around LA. And then JP Williams, who managed Jeff Foxworthy, saw me.
Sure, yeah.
He's like, yo, you're kind of funny. Let me see. I used to host. And so I used to just, everything was off the top of my head. Yeah. He said, let me see you do a set. So I was like, okay, we were at Igby's off Pico. And I did a set. He's like, yeah, I want to do something different. Call me tomorrow. I called him. He's like, yo, he goes, I want you to come on the road and open for Jeff Foxworthy.
No shit.
I go, who's that? And he told me who he was. And then for a good 2 years, I was the opening act on the Redneck tour. Before Blue Collar.
Way. Are you serious?
Before Blue Collar, I was the opening act on the Redneck tour. And it was always funny to do these shows because, you know, you can imagine. Our first show was in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Oh, that's
so you can see those audiences. Those audiences would be like, okay, you were. I'd be in the hallway, you know, Jeff signing stuff. You were funny, black comedian. Yeah. I'd be like, thanks, white cowboy.
Did you ever have people heckle you?
Never.
No.
Because Jeff at least has the wholesome rednecks.
Jeff's got the smart rednecks for sure. Yeah. They're decent people.
Decent. Just kind human beings.
Yeah. Was that good dough opening for him?
I don't know what it was back. $500, whatever. That was great back then. You know what I mean? I'm
Plus, when you're traveling with somebody like that, you're living large.
Everything's paid for. Absolutely. So I went from him to Damon.
Wow.
And so he's really spoiling me because he's like, man, you ain't gonna be in Coach. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. So then when I stopped doing those, it was hard for me to go be a comedy club comedian and go rent my ticket, go buy my own ticket and the comedy condo. Like I've never ever stayed in a comedy condo.
Yeah.
So I was kind of spoiled.
Right.
And so the acting stuff started to happen in commercials and I never really did the road. I would do like 5, 6, 7 dates a year.
Yeah.
And it would be like specialty. Either, you know, I'm you know, the mayor of Detroit's birthday, or some baseball player is opening a brand new mall. You know, I had like, it wouldn't be comedy club dates like everybody else. I would see people in the airport.
You were a personality as much as
kinda, yeah. I would, you know, Michael Jordan's golf tournament. I'd be the auctioneer, stuff like that.
Yeah. And so, did stand up working around LA get you acting jobs directly, or it would get you auditions?
I think both.
Yeah.
I think, you know, people like this movie I did with Ving Rhames, not a great movie, Ving Rhames, Gary Oldman, and Kerry Washington called Sin. Nobody saw it. But if you go, a director came in and saw me on stage and was like, yo, I got something for you.
Yeah.
I came in and met with him. I don't even think I read. He just was like, you're the guy.
Yeah.
And that guy the director became a lifelong friend of mine too.
No shit. Mm-hmm. Wow. Did you, because you direct now as well, did you?
I directed my first feature.
Yeah, congratulations, man. That's amazing. Damn, and you got a good cast. Tiffany's in it.
Tiffany, Wesley Snipes. And the rest are comedians. J.B. Smooth, Faison Love, Bill Bellamy, Gary Owen.
Damn.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
It's about these male strippers that get back together after 25 years to help this woman save her hotel and strip club, if you will.
Oh, fuck yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah, that's mine. And a young guy named Spence Moore, who actually played the young Jonathan Majors in Creed. Another young lady named Reagan Harris, who you may know from Grownish. Ryan Alexander, great actor. Colleen Camp, who you might not recognize the name, but you know her face. She was in Police Academy and Game of Death, and she was the maid in Clue.
Okay.
So her Buddy Lewis, very funny comedian as well. So we come out August 18th. In theaters, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we're not streaming until after. But
you got to put it in the theater so you can be eligible for awards. Right?
Not necessarily that, but the fact that people are actually back in the movie theaters was the reason why we kind of waited, because we could have come out earlier, but we're like, you know, let's see how this theater thing is starting to happen, and we started seeing how the foot traffic is starting to happen.
Yeah, that's great. So when you started directing, I mean, obviously you've been a TV writer for a lot of years. You and I have written together on a couple shows, right? And but as far as directing, did you have like a mentor, or did you just kind of pick it up as you went from being behind the scenes?
So I kind of just, you know, a lot of times on these award shows, I would write for all the award shows, BET Awards, MTV Awards. And so whenever like my friend was the host, Jamie Foxx, Cedric, Kevin Hart, Mike Epps, they would have stuff that would need B-rolls shot. And sometimes they would allow me to direct that. So that's where kind of the bug happened.
Yeah.
And so my the show that I co-created with Kevin Hart, Real Husbands of Hollywood, I directed a couple of episodes of that. And then I did a video here, a couple of commercials. I was like, okay.
You did a lot of commercials.
3 or 4. You know what? It looks like a lot because it was like one commercial, but there was a lot of them.
Okay.
And so that's where it happened. That's where I was like, oh, I like this.
What are your what's your philosophy on directing? Like, what do you bring to it when you direct something?
You have to have an incredible DP.
Yeah.
An incredible assistant director, because they're going to help you get through this mess. Because at least with in my case, this was new. And so I didn't realize how dependent on the director the people are. Everybody wants you to give them an answer.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, we have these 2 phones. You want to go with the 13 or the 14?
Yeah.
And you can't say, I don't know. Or you can't go, what do you think? If you don't have an answer, you got to say, you know what, come back to me in a minute. I'm just kind of figuring out some other stuff. Yeah. I mean, they're like, what plates should we use in the dinner scene? And I'm like, I don't give a fuck, but you have to give a fuck.
And those things matter.
Those things matter.
Yeah.
Now when I watch movies, I go, oh, you know what? The color palette is off. Yeah. He's mauve. That's green.
Right.
Somebody didn't have a conversation with the director.
Yeah. They didn't think this through.
They didn't think this through.
Right.
And I never ever looked at it like that. I didn't care.
But directing, to me, what's so daunting is we're comedians. Like, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Spencer, you walk on stage, adrenaline, contact, life or death stakes. Mm-hmm. But when you're a director, there's all that pre-production where you have to visualize it.
Absolutely.
And you have to
storyboard it.
Yeah.
And write and rewrite.
Is that hard for you?
I had an incredible DP.
Yeah.
And he loved film.
Yeah.
And so when I was ready to do a storyboard, have a conversation, he's like, oh, it's already done.
Yeah.
I was like, and I had to pretend like stuff was wrong. I'm like, wait a minute, this shouldn't be a mid shot.
Yeah.
Why are we going over the shoulder? We don't need a dirty French. Like, I pretended like I helped, but it was all his shit.
Yeah. Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
And do you feel like at the end of the day, people looked at you like, yeah, that guy knew what he was doing? Absolutely. They do.
Because I'm an actor. But I actually knew what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. Right. I'm already, the technical stuff was new.
Yeah.
And when it was daunting, when I was like, damn, I'm worried about it, I saw an interview with Tarantino. And he's like, people are always worried about, the lighting as a director and with the sound. He goes, hire somebody that does sound. Mm-hmm. You hire somebody that does lighting. Mm-hmm. Your job is to tell a story. Mm-hmm. And these people are here to help you tell the story in the best way possible. Right. So you hire the best person that does lighting, the best person you can afford to do sound.
Right.
It's like,
yeah.
That's what I need to do.
Yeah. What's the best show in terms of enjoying the experience that you ever wrote on?
Real Husbands of Hollywood.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
I mean, the cast was nutty. Kevin Hart, Nick Cannon, Nelly, Robin Thicke. Your audience might not know some of these people. Dwayne Martin, Boris Kojo.
I think people know all those names.
Figured so. But the guest stars were crazy. From Katie Couric to Shaq to Khloe Kardashian, Kris Kardashian, Chris Brown, Nia Long. Like, every week it was exciting. Who we got? Oh, Cedric the Entertainer's coming this week. Or Mike Epps is coming this week.
Yeah.
Sanaa Lathan, Regina Hall, Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah.
Like, so it's disappointing that it didn't get the love that it should have. Like, if we would have been on a regular mainstream network. It
was on BET, right?
I'd have Emmy necklaces.
Yeah, right. Well, when you do something on BET, sometimes it gets moved over to a streamer or something. Mm-hmm. Did it end up anywhere?
It's everywhere.
Oh, it is.
And that's why we're out there marching right now.
Yeah, because you're not making any.
The shit's on Comedy Central. Yeah. It's on fucking BET Plus, Netflix, all the Viacom channels. Have I gotten a check for that?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Ain't that fucked up?
Yeah.
Kevin one time told me, this is way back then, he did a gig in Thailand or Taiwan, something with a Thai. Tiger Woods' house. He gets off the plane. You go to the airport, there's a wall with like paintings. It was the whole cast. Taiwan Comedy Central. I was like, yo, that's a check.
No shit.
No fucking check.
Wow.
And I thought, you know what? We get a check. I said, maybe because it's under the Viacom umbrella, Comedy Central, we're not going to get a check. But when I saw this shit on Netflix, no check. Yeah. And I saw this shit on Amazon Prime, no check. Mm-hmm. When I saw it on the Ku Klux Klan network, no.
Ku Klux Klan even picked it up.
No check.
You're going to get an award for that, for sure.
I mean, we're hanging with the Klan.
Yeah. That's like, it was like opening for Jeff Foxworthy again.
There you go. See how I did that, folks? That's circle. That's comedy.
But you know, Ms. Pat had a show on.
She's killing.
She's killing it.
Killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they treat her well. I went to the Essence Festival, and they were treating her like Jennifer Lopez.
Really?
I was like, y'all have a show on? Yeah, that's great. Scoot over, Miss Pat. I'd like to get in there.
Yeah.
She had like 2 limos, and anyway.
No shit.
Yeah, we opened the door for Miss Pat to get treated properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, actually, what happened with her is her ratings are through the roof. And so when your ratings are through the roof, God damn it, you're going to get treated better.
Right. Well, and it started on BET Plus, and then I think it got moved over to Hulu or something.
I mean, everything usually eventually goes to Hulu.
Right. So what are you working on now? That's a horrible question.
I'm not writing. That's what I'm not doing.
Yeah, I know.
So I just shot a special.
You did?
I just shot a comedy special.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just shot it in Los Angeles, right here at the Cicada restaurant downtown. And I got a verbal from a few people, but I'm going to shop it.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it to this film festival called the American Black Film Festival in Miami. And I'm going to treat it like a movie.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you guys, because everybody's going to be there. HBO Max, Showtime, Cinemax, whatever.
Right.
Ku Klux Klan channel. And I'll be like, who wants to buy my comedy special?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different ways to do it now.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people chopping their stuff up, putting it on YouTube, chopping it up, putting it on their website.
Yeah.
And so I was like, let me see. And it's not so much for me to make a lot of money from this special, but I need the world to know that I'm a comedian first.
Right.
I have all these slashes: director, producer, writer, dancer, politician. But I need the world to know I'm a comedian first, because I always say, if this was high school and I was walking into the cafeteria and John Singleton and F. Gary Gray and Tim Story and Scorsese are sitting at one table, and Kevin Hart and Greg Fitzsimmons and Louis C.K. and Cedric the Entertainer and Tiffany Haddish and Wanda at this other table, I'm going to this table.
Yeah. Right.
This is who I am in my being and my blood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I used to really be upset when I was on the road and I would see you guys in the airport coming from comedy clubs, and I'm coming from, some dude invented a new chili. The wide receiver from the Dallas Cowboys has a new chili and he wants to do a comedy show.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Jeff Garland was just here, and he was talking about, because he's like you, he hybrids. He directs and produces and writes and acts and does stand-up. And he said almost the exact same thing. He's like, I'm a comedian. That's at the heart. And he goes, there's nobody I'm more comfortable with than a bunch of comedians. And it doesn't matter if they're new, if they've been doing it for 20 years, 30 years. Let me tell you a story
I've told before. Jeff Garland was there. I am doing Caroline's in New York. I am on the 10 o'clock show. Jeff Garland's doing the 8 o'clock show. Jeff Garland walks in with Robin Williams. Jeff does this stupid thing of saying, Robin, why don't you go up before me?
Jeff said that to Robin Williams?
We've seen people kill.
Yeah.
This motherfucker, the comedians on the wall like Groucho Marx and Mae West, they were laughing. The paint was peeling, sweating. Old ladies who couldn't walk were running. The club was white, but it looked like Def Jam. Motherfucker was high-fiving. I mean, he was murdering.
Yeah.
And so then after that, Robin came backstage, right? And there's a green room full of comedians.
Yeah.
And he's holding court. But he's asking as many questions as they're asking him.
Right.
And he's like, amazed. And I say to him, and I need this to be on camera, I said, how come you don't do the Comedy Store anymore? He said, about 15 years ago I was there and I drove up and these two, sometimes white people are nervous when they say the word black. So he was like, African. I said, say black. So he's like, these two African, I said, black. Like, 2 black guys came up to me and they're like, yo, Robin Williams, what the fuck you doing here? He was like, I'm gonna go perform I believe in the original room. And then they said to me, get the fuck out of here. And so I left. I go, Robin, are you out of your mind? He's like, what? I said, that was slang. He says, what do you mean slang? When they saw you, they were like, why the fuck is Robin Williams, movie star, here at this little club called the Comedy Store? And then you're like, oh, I'm in the main room. And they say, get the fuck out of here. Like, you got to know what that means. Like, you've seen Italian movies. You've seen fucking the mafia movies. Italians talk like, get the fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here.
That was Saturday.
Yeah.
Monday, this motherfucker shows up at the Comedy Store. Tuesday, the headline reads, Robin Williams returns back to the Comedy Store after 15 or 20 years.
Dude, I
was Forrest Gump in that situation. No fucking credit. But that's a true story. But what I say that to say, when Robin was back there, this motherfucker has been with every fucking actor, actress, superstar person, Billy Crystal, Whoopi Goldberg, whatever. There's people. Right. Billy, of course, is comic. Whoopi's comic. But other movie stars. But when he got back there with us, he was at home.
Yep.
It was like, yo, I'm a fucking comedian.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's to watch him glow.
And he was sweet, wasn't he? He was kind of gentle.
Oh my God. The first time I met him was shopping. He was buying some shoes at, remember Barney's?
Sure.
Yeah. And he was buying some shoes. He was by himself. Whenever I see somebody by himself, I'm like, there's got to be security. Hiding somewhere to make sure. And I sat down and started talking to him about shoes. He's like, what do you think about these? I was like, those are weird. And he's like, oh, I like weird. And then and then I'd be over here and he'd come over. What about these? I was like, and the fact that I told him I was a comedian, he felt comfortable. Like everybody else come up to autographs, he's like, oh no, I'm just shopping, But when he saw me, he was like, yo, this is somebody who does what I do.
Yeah.
And we love each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Comedians love each other.
Right.
That's why my wife doesn't understand. She goes, why are you coming home at 1:30? I go, what's wrong with that? She's like, your spot was at 9. I go, she doesn't understand. Yeah. We like to frolic, watch other people.
Right.
We used to be able to go eat at Jerry's and Greenblatt's. Those places are closed, but we go across the street to the Pendry or whatever. But we like to be around each other. We don't hang out in the day.
Right.
We're in our 50s.
Right.
Me and you ain't hooping.
Yeah.
Unless we go play golf, which we've been talking about for 10 years.
Yeah.
We don't see comics like that unless your comic is your friend.
I used to try to book 3 spots a night in LA and drive around. And it's like, if I get a spot at the store, I'm good. I'm going to come a little early, hang out a little late.
The room is, I use the word delicious.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned the original room, when I first came back, I used to bomb. You hear me? Bomb. And I'd be like, what the fuck? And David Arnold, dear friend of mine who just passed away, one of the funniest people I know, he's like, you got to get the pulse of that room. He said, once you get the pulse, it'll be your favorite room. I said, I don't know when the fuck that's going to be.
Right.
And then I realized one day when I didn't give a fuck, I was like, oh, you ain't supposed to perform in this room.
No.
You're supposed to be in this room.
Right.
It is the greatest room in the world.
Yep.
Because it taught me to stop doing da-da-da-da-da-da-da, fireball,
right. No, they go back. They lean back when you do that.
Why is that, you think?
I think it's just like there's no bar in the room. There's low ceilings. It's dark as fuck, which I love. And you're on the Sunset Strip. There's something magic about sitting right there. And the windows there's no curtains on some of the windows. You can see the cars driving by on Sunset Boulevard.
What is it that the audience feels like this guy is trying too hard? Is it because would it be like performing too big in a living room?
Yeah, I think it is. And I just shot my special in there about 2 months ago.
I almost did too.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? Gerard had did it. And then the other situation happened. I was like literally this close.
I didn't like the way Gerard's was directed, though. I don't think they captured the room right. Yeah, it was about like, hey, look at me, I'm Spike Lee directing a special. You saw his fingerprints all over it.
It was a little artsy.
Yeah,
but that's Gerard. If you look at his last 2, he likes something.
Right. Yeah.
But you and I come from a different cloth. We're fucking mano y mano. Right. Me, Mike, Curtin.
Right. Jokes. Cameras were all on sticks, just sitting there. We had one roving around. We barely use it. It's just shot.
Because we're purists.
Simple, yeah. But it's also like, I think this room is, the lineups are just so interesting. I mean, you go to some clubs, I'm not going to mention which clubs in LA, and it's a fucking hack fest. And you get up there, and the audience has been getting beat over the head with bad premises, too much bad crowd work. I'm done with the fucking crowd work. There's a handful of guys and girls that do crowd work really well. Everybody else, cut the shit and write some fucking jokes.
How popular it's getting because I was a crowd work guy and that's because I had no material.
Because you were emceeing too.
I was always hosting, yes.
Right.
So especially if I'm hosting a club every night, every week, the same people are coming. Crowd. I got to have new shit. So I always got good at it. And so, but I had to get an act to become a comedian, right?
Yeah.
But now I see all these people blowing up on TikTok and these other little platforms from their clips of crowd work. And so now I think that's why there's this sudden influx of comedians who are doing crowd work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like the crowd work when it's not like, hey, where you from? Like if some shit happens organic.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can play.
And when you go in depth, when it's actually a conversation.
Yes. Like, don't make what you said make me win. Like, where do you work? Construction.
Right.
Like, dig into that shit. You know what I mean?
Construction. So, do you own your own company, or are you somebody bossing you around all day? You work outside in the summers? Like, be curious. Dig in.
Dig in.
Yeah.
And if you watch me do crowd work, for some reason, I get lucky a lot of times. It'll feel like it was my act. Yeah. Because I'll have callbacks in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll figure out a way to say, well, if you need a house, don't use this construction guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really play.
Yep. No, I do crowd work.
No, you're great.
But it's organic. Like I don't mind them. Like I feel like you paid to come see a show.
Right. But
you're not the show.
But that's the fucking thing. That's the trick. Some of my I can't believe how great you were came from those crowd work days.
Yeah, of course. That's what they remember.
And that used to be my problem too, because I was so great at that, and then I would go into material and it didn't match.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to have that voice with the jokes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that took some time.
Yeah. But you're very animated on stage. Like there's something that comes out of you that's grounded and conversational, but you also have you move well.
Well, you know where I learned that from? Damon Wayans.
Oh, yeah.
I was on a road with him. He said, say the joke, show the joke. That's two different laughs.
Right.
And I'd be like, oh. And then, a lot of urban comedians are physical. Matter of fact, it's so funny. You should do this. You too. I was on Amazon or one of them. I started watching all the old Def Jams. These motherfuckers is coming out the ceiling, backflips, cartwheels. Physical. If they said Michael Jackson, motherfucker became Michael Jackson. If he said an elephant, a motherfucker put his hand like this. And I'm like, it's so artistic to watch these dudes create. So I was like, I need to figure out the marriage. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm glad you noticed, because that was my goal, because I was a straight. And I remember one time I said something about my mother being Jamaican, and Mark Curry was like, do the fucking accent. Can you do a Jamaican accent? I was like, yeah. He says, well, if you say your mother's Jamaican, let me hear your mother talking with a Jamaican accent.
Yeah.
My lawyer.
Your lawyer, you better take that shit.
I'm on air.
I have a rule on my podcast.
Raymond.
Lawyer calls, you can put it on speakerphone.
Sign it. Hello?
You're good to go?
Yeah, let's just fucking sign. I can't take it anymore. I got a kid in college. My wife we need a new kitchen floor. Let's just fucking. We have to treat this like our first album.
Fair enough.
All right. Just hopefully I'm Beyonce and not just some one-hit wonder with this first album.
They get the masters this time, but we'll get them next time.
Bingo. All right, yeah. Sign it, and let's see if we can get that fucking check this week.
All right, I'll see how quickly we can get it out.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Bye.
Are you making a deal for your special?
We'll talk off air. Never.
Lawyer calls, you never feel good after a call from your lawyer.
You know what? Family and business really don't mix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I say family, not necessarily your real brother, your sister, but people you were close to.
Yeah.
Like just when you think, do we?
Yeah.
Man, my lawyers said.
Yeah, right.
What you told me, I know what I told you, but these motherfuckers are saying.
Yeah.
Right. That's happened to me many, many times.
Right.
So you have to remember that mindset. He's your friend. You guys play basketball together, golf, and his mother is your godmother, but. This is this is show business.
Yeah.
Not show friends, not show family. Yeah. It's show business. And sometimes you expect too much and you expect something from your friends and your family, but you shouldn't. You need to treat each other like this is business. We can be friends and family.
No, you got to look at his work ethic, what he's done before, because that's what he's going to do this time.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter if it's
and you have to respect that.
Right.
It hurts. Mm-hmm. It's like, I can't believe you're doing this to me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So let's go back. Remember when we worked on In the Flow with Affion Crockett? Mm-hmm. That was fucking crazy.
Jesus Christ. I felt so bad for Affion.
I mean, it was... Money got spent. Like, I got to the show late. I got there halfway through the season.
You were what's his name? Always Be
Hugh
Closing.
Fink.
No, Always Be Closing. And Glengarry Glen Ross. Alec Baldwin.
Right.
You came to fix shit.
Yeah. But when I came in and did that, I was like, I think you said it to me. It was so funny. I go, all right, you guys, I know a lot of these ideas got shot down by the network, but if anything, if you feel passionate about one of these sketches, because the sketch had fucking walls of ideas. I said, and I think the network just fucking was killing everything. And I said, if there's anything you feel passionate about, let me know and let me try to fight for it. And you go, why? Because you're white? And I was like, yeah.
I said, go get him. But listen, remember, we had 3x5 cards from both of these walls.
Right.
And Jamie and Affion had two different visions of what the show should be.
Jamie Foxx.
You know another Jamie? Kaler?
Well, we didn't introduce his name yet.
This is Jamie. There's only one Jamie.
Yeah.
Kennedy. Sorry. There's another Jamie. Okay. Did you say Affion Crockett? Because there might be another one.
There's only one Affion Crockett.
So Affion is coming from the new school of comedy. He has millions and millions of followers on all these social media platforms. And the way he does stuff is kind of in and out.
Characters, bits, yeah.
Jamie comes from a different school. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end to the joke. Mm-hmm. And just the way he wanted to do things were differently. So one day, Jamie came in and just started plucking cards off the wall. This shit ain't funny. This ain't funny. This ain't funny. And we're like, motherfucker, how you know it's not funny? I don't know. And he had people in his ear.
Yeah.
That was in the writer's room telling him, this shit ain't gonna be funny. This ain't gonna be funny. And so there was that.
Yeah.
The two genius comedic
geniuses. Right.
When they did, and then the stuff they did together was magical, but it was just too many people trying to make themselves beholden to Jamie,
right?
Beholden to Affion,
right?
So both had people in their ear going, "Man, fuck Jamie Foxx. This is your shit, Affion. Yeah. Man, fuck Affion. He ain't got no Oscar. Yeah." So
yeah. There was two camps.
Yes,
it really was. There was two camps,
yes.
and it was a shame because, and also I think Jamie got excited and shot some sketches early on that were mega expensive. Mansions and cars and 100 extras and all. And they got to, by the time I got there, the network was like, I think it was Todd Yusui was the guy.
I think we shot it on iPhones.
He goes, from now on, here's the mandate. 2 actors, green screen if possible. I was like, what? This is a Fox network show. They're like, that's all we got left.
That's the end.
Yeah, I remember JB Smoove came in one time and we had him for something and we were like, we got to get something else. And so I was just thinking about it. I was like, what can we do with him and Affion? I go, how about this? You guys are old friends and you haven't seen each other in a while and it's going to be the world's longest dap. And they just started shaking hands and bumping.
We gotta get a copy of that.
It went on, one take, 15 minutes. They just kept doing it. By the end, JB's on his back, kicking. They're kicking each other, and
oh my god,
it was fucking great.
I gotta call Affion to see if he does that. Yeah, remember we had Chris Brown,
right?
Snoop, we had great guest stars.
Yeah, Wayne Brady.
Do you
remember that story?
Of course.
Can I tell it?
Sure.
All right, so I come in, and it's maybe my second day, and I walk into the writer's room, and we're pitching on actors that are in the closet. And we're pitching names. Somebody goes Tom Cruise. Somebody says John Travolta. And I go, what about Wayne Brady? And the room goes fucking quiet, cold. I'm like, what the fuck? I go, what was that? And somebody goes, I'm not going to say the person, but like, that's so-and-so's boyfriend who was in the room. I was like, fuck, I'm so sorry. And she was like, I guarantee you he's not gay. I was like, all right, my bad. And then he came in to visit her one day, and we had a little bit of a run-in.
I remember.
Over it. Yeah.
But I don't even think you were saying it to say you thought he was gay, but it was just a great punchline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was a cheap laugh. At someone's expense.
Yes. But that's what we do. The writer's room is supposed to be this place where we can say anything and then we fucking try to bring it down.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
You gotta say wild shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing about Wayne Brady that's gay. You know what I mean? But it was a fucking funny ass line to say.
He sings and dances, so it was an easy joke.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
But it was just like, and then for her to go back and snitch is almost like, this is a sacred place.
Yeah, right. And that's a shame about writing rooms now, is they're not sacred places anymore. My friend,
probably because there's only one or two of them in the room now.
One or two what?
People, writers.
Yeah. Well, I remember a friend of mine was show running, and it was a sketch show, kind of an edgy sketch show, very smart show. And there was a woman in the room who was like a junior hire. She was a staff writer. She was new. And she went to human resources because they weren't using any of her sketches. And she said it was because she was a woman. And they came in and they told the showrunner, you have to start using some of her sketches. It was like, that's not how this shit works. She's new. Of course, she's not scoring right away. You fucking take your bumps for a while. You keep pitching. You get thick skin. You learn. You watch. So, yeah, the writers' rooms are different than they used to be. Human resources was never involved in writers' rooms. Yeah.
Well, this was about pay.
Right.
Yeah, no. This place is sacred.
Yeah.
We can say whatever you want. Racial, religious, everything. Until somebody goes, yo, all right, we can't do that.
Right.
We laugh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
The network's never going to go, all right, let's get serious, you guys.
Yeah.
What we got?
Right.
But this is, a lot of times when we're pitching, we can't figure shit out.
Right.
And so we have to say off the wall shit. We have to actually make each other laugh.
Well, that's just it. You're not always pitching to the script. Sometimes you're just making each other laugh.
Exactly.
There's guys that get hired on shows that never score jokes, but they keep the room hot. They're funny. Oh,
really?
Fuck yeah.
I've never heard of that.
I'll tell you the name after the show.
Wow.
But he's a guy you know, and you'll get it when I say it.
Listen, the room needs to be loose. It's almost like the warm-up for a TV show.
Yeah, and you have to have running bits that you all do with each other. You know, like my friend worked on Craig Kilborn's show, and when somebody would pitch a joke and it was going on for a while, everybody would put their elbow on the table and their hand on their face, and then they would start going like spider webs on their hand.
Oh my God, we had the same thing. If you were pitching and you kept pitching and nobody would do it, we would go, dude, please step away from the joke. Please step away from the joke. So that's so funny. That's the writers' rooms are.
Yeah. And that's
nothing like a great
and nobody
writer.
likes that joke more than the guy who's bombing because he knows he's bombing. He
and
needs
he's speeding it up. He's like, oh shit. It's like the Sandman on the Apollo. Like, oh shit, I need to get my shit together.
Yeah, it's always tough when you write on a show and it's like, okay, everybody, Monday, everybody's got to pitch 3 ideas, and then it's like a fucking midterm, and you're sitting there and you're waiting for your turn, and you're like, fuck, I didn't do it. I didn't do the work.
Or the people, there's always that writer that tries to piggyback on somebody else's shit. I had something similar to Tom who said, it's like, motherfucker, you didn't have shit.
Yeah. Did you ever write for Cedric?
Of course.
You weren't on Cedric the Entertainer Presents.
So I've written for everybody, usually because of the award shows.
Right.
So, whether it be the Emmys, the BET Awards, the ESPYs, I've done that a few times.
People's Choice?
Never did People's... Yeah.
No.
Maybe.
I think that's gone now.
People's Choice. I did one of those Todd Yasui shows.
Yeah.
He does all of them. iHeartRadio or something like that.
Yeah, I did one. I think we did that together.
Oh, with Jamie.
Yeah, with Jamie.
Yeah. And so that's... Like, I have this moniker that he writes for everybody.
Yeah.
It's only because if... Anthony Anderson is hosting the BET Awards.
Yeah.
If Tiffany Haddish is hosting the Hip Hop Awards, you know what I mean? So
you write hard jokes.
Well, you know what I'm great at? I'm a decent writer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm really good. But I am the liaison between the comedian and the powers that be.
Okay.
So I'm the guy that goes, Jamie Foxx ain't gonna say this.
Right.
Yeah, tell him again. Okay. Jamie, they want you to try again.
All right.
No. He said no. And I came up with all these guys. Yeah. So me and Jamie started stand-up around the same time. And so there's a certain mutual respect.
All right.
And then the younger guys came here when I used to be richer than them and more famous. So they look up to me still, even though they're way the fuck up there. So there's a respect there. So they know I know their comedic voice, their sensibilities,
right.
What they think is funny, what I think is funny, what the audience is going to think. They trust me. Yeah. So I've gained this trust with the comedians.
Right. Yeah, that's a thing that you can't fake. I think that like a comedian is always going to want to be directed by another comedian. They're going to want to be written for by another comedian.
It's
right.
So
right.
Even when like we'd be doing those, B-roll stuff, and Jamie would be getting directed by the director, he'd be like, Chris, give me something.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I was thinking I didn't have a joke, but the camera, why is the camera over here?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, that your ear, you burned it yesterday when you fell. Like the camera should be over here, or somebody get some more makeup. I had notes like that. Yeah. So it's like, he cares about me.
Yeah.
And that's how I go.
I don't want to get personal, but like, how's Jamie doing?
You want the truth? Of course you do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I know there hasn't been a lot of news about it, and I don't want to ask you something that's.
When does this come out?
I'm not sure. A week or 2, 3.
All right, so he and the only reason I'm pausing is because the camp, I believe, has signed NDAs.
Okay.
And so there's stuff that people have told me, but it sounds exactly like the same thing he told me.
Okay.
I think they've signed NDA because they all got together and go, listen, Jimmy's doing better. You're going to see him soon. Ready,
right.
break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But from what I've heard from my little inside sources is that he's doing remarkable and he's recovering faster than they thought.
That's great.
And so, you see all these videos and, it's so funny how sensationalism works and clickbait. Like, they're saying that this guy's trying to kill him and there was a bomb on the set.
Right. Yeah, well, I hope he does better. I mean, he's truly like one of our national treasures. This is better than anybody. That guy is a genius.
He is not, and I want to tell this to them, the family, but of course you can't. I'm like, he's not just yours. He is the world. Yeah. Jamie Foxx belongs to the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, the reason I hesitated because, even saying his name just makes me get.
Yeah.
And because he's done so much for me and my family.
Right. Yeah, and you guys, did you do In Living Color with him? Didn't you do a couple episodes?
Not with him. That's when I used to think I was a weigh-in. So me and Sean were great friends, and so I did like 4 or 5 sketches on the weigh-in.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but Jamie was there.
Yeah.
Tommy, everybody. So, I got to meet everybody.
What sketches did you do?
I did a couple. I did one called... Man, this was all when it was about gays in the military. And so if you guys look it up, you'll see a sketch where they're trying to, ban gays in the military. And so it's with Jim Carrey, Jamie, Marlon, and David Allen Greer. So that's one. I did another one for, I think, IHOP or one of those places was doing something with the food. And... I don't know. It was an international incident going on with either IHOP or something. Denny's. Yeah. Denny's did something. Oh,
yeah. They weren't serving black customers.
They weren't serving black customers. Right, I just so happened to be a black customer in the sketch.
Yeah.
And then I did another one with Jim Carrey. Another gay one. Wow. That's crazy.
Do you think that those sketches would get produced and aired today?
Fuck no. You can't even say the word gay. I hope you don't get canceled for me saying the word gay.
I know. It's it is so weird. You go back and you look at some older shows and you're like, fuck.
Dude, in Delirious, 3 minutes into his act, Eddie Murphy says, I got to keep moving because you keep looking at my ass.
Yep.
My ass gets hot.
Half his jokes are about it. Jackie Gleason, fucking Art
Mr.
Carney
T.
and Mr. T and... It was those albums would not come out today.
Rap.
Yeah.
From the 90s.
Right.
Heavy D had a song, he says, I'm as happy as a F word in some of my old jokes. I never drew the F-bomb, but it's like, ooh,
right.
I gotta be careful how famous I get, because some of this shit's gonna come back out.
I was just so immature when I started. I was such a...
We're trying to win.
Yeah, we're just trying to conquer the crowd.
We're just trying. We want to win. What does it take to win?
It's me against them, and I gotta use whatever tools I can pull out.
Here's so funny, and I'm different. Like I would hear a white comic say some racial shit, and everybody like, that motherfucker's racist. Like, no. He was just bombing.
Yeah.
Or he was trying to shock.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying racial shit. You know what I mean? I can't talk shit about him saying stuff about black people. And I'm talking shit about white people.
Yeah.
And I'm talking shit about Latino people and Asian people. You know what I mean? I think there's a certain time, I don't know your heart, but if I'm just looking at you, sometimes I can feel it. But sometimes it's just a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Me, my brother-in-law, and his best friend went to go see fucking Don Rickles.
Yeah.
It was a master class.
Yeah.
He was race, religion, heavy, too skinny. He looked like he have AIDS.
Yeah.
The crowd is fucking screaming.
Yeah.
We go backstage to meet him.
No shit.
Yes.
Nice.
He goes, shit, an Arab, a fucking spick, and a colored. Hide my wallet. We're dying. Look at you. That's how we were. We're fucking in tears.
Dude, that's my dream, was always to get roasted by Rickles. That's amazing.
He roasted us every time. While we're talking, he'd be talking like this. Hey, the colored guy, could you come over here? My suitcase is over there. Yo, we're screaming. And we came from a different era. Do you remember Don Biner?
Yeah.
He had a sketch show, and they had a family. They were, I forget what the colored family, the multicultural family. And that's all they did was talk shit about each other with racial jokes.
Yeah.
That's the school I come from.
Right.
Red Fox.
Yeah.
You know, Red Fox said something on TV that... Red Fox said something on Sanford and Son that will never, ever be said again. He said... he was asking, why wasn't there any black jurors? Something like that.
Uh-huh.
God, I don't want to butcher the joke. Delete.
Red Fox was amazing because he had one of the first comedy record labels. And he said he had a little club. I think it was on like Fairfax or something. La Cienega. And he just recorded everybody. And then he owned
Masters, yeah.
He owned the Masters and it was shit quality. He just hung a couple microphones and they called it an album. Some of them were brilliant, some of them were garbage, but I collect comedy records, and I've got.
Who were some of the people that I know for sure? Ronaldo Ray did one.
Yeah, there was who was the one who played his sister-in-law on Sanford and Son?
LaWanda Page.
LaWanda Page. I got a bunch of those. Those were great. Yeah. God, who else was it? I'm so shitty with names. But the quality was terrible. But then his...
You can hear this.
Oh, yeah. You couldn't hear them. Like, you have to really strain to hear them. What's your favorite comedy album of all time? Or special? Album or special?
Live on Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
I can quote... line for line.
Yeah.
I can do it.
That's the one after he was on fire, right?
No, this is before. This is Long
okay.
Beach.
Yeah.
Long Beach. I hope I'm funny. Yeah, Long Beach.
Uh-huh.
The red silk shirt, sweat under the arms.
Yeah.
Fucking shiny pants, shiny shoes.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
So he shot it in Long Beach, but it was called Live on the Sunset Strip?
No. There's Richard Pryor live in concert. And then there's Live on Sunset Strip with the red suit and the bow tie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's after he got burned. What is this? Richard Pryor running down the street.
Yeah.
That's live in concert.
Right. Did you ever meet him?
Mm-hmm. But it wasn't the Richard Pryor I wanted to meet. This is when he was in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
He was doing spots, and he did the thing for Rhino Records. And I hosted a show with me, him, Damon, and Paul Mooney. Uh-huh. And so, he's in the wheelchair. I had to help him get on stage. I mean, he's still fucking Richard Pryor, but he wasn't. And he would always come up here and do spots. I couldn't. That's not the Richard Pryor I wanted to.
Yeah.
You know
right. I saw Henny Youngman. You remember Henny Youngman?
Of course.
So Henny Youngman, it was a Friars Club event, and it was at this little theater on the Upper East Side. And all the big Borscht Belt comics went up there, you know, Dick Capri and Malzy Lawrence and Freddie Roman. And so I
don't know any one of those people.
You wouldn't know them. If you didn't grow up in New York, you wouldn't know these guys. These were like legends in the Catskills and Broadway. And so they all perform, they all kill. It's an old audience. And then I'm noticing Henny Youngman is sitting in the front row. The stage is about 6 feet high. So he's sitting down below, looking up, watching the show. And then the host of the show, Dick Capri, comes up and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, Henny Youngman." And I'm like, how the fuck is he going to get up there? They hand him a wireless microphone, doesn't even turn the chair around. He's got his back to the audience, and he does 15 minutes of perfect Henny Youngman jokes. Fucking nails everyone. Bam, bam, bam. Huge laughs. And then he just hands the microphone back, and he died like 6 months later. Wow. It was amazing. I mean, do you want to do it that long? To the end?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about traveling the country doing some shit, but if I could be fucking Henny Youngman and go...
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love jokes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how much comedians love jokes. I'm writing on the Laugh-In 50th anniversary special. Did you work on that?
No.
So I've met Jay Leno a few times, and him and Billy Crystal are like this, right? And John Mack...
Yeah, Johnny Mac.
John Mack is helping.
Well, there's Johnny Mac and there's John Mac.
John Max.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, the white one. That's their guy.
Yeah.
Right?
He writes on Emmys, Oscars, Grammys, country music, television, every fucking award show.
Fucking inauguration.
Yep.
Right? He probably wrote for the shit at Capitol Hill. Okay, he writes for everything. So, they're telling jokes back and forth, like regular jokes.
Uh-huh.
I go, I'm sitting behind them. You guys ever heard the one about and now me and my two fucking heroes are going back to back telling jokes.
That's amazing.
One of the greatest fucking days of my life.
Oh, that's so cool. This guy is driving down the road and he sees a sign and it says, "Talking dog, $200. You know this joke?
You told it to me. I tell it once every 2 or 3 months.
So the guy pulls over. It's a farmhouse. He drives down the driveway and he sees the guy and he goes, "Talking dog, is that real? Is there really a talking dog?" He's like, "Yeah, I got a talking dog." He's like, "I got to see this." Takes him around the back of the house and there's the dog. He's got a collar on. He's tied up to the post. And he says, "Hi, are you a talking dog?" He goes, "Yeah, don't talk down to me. I'm a talking dog. I was in the CIA. I was literally in Cuba trying to assassinate Castro. I was over in Nicaragua with the freedom fighters." He goes, "I marched Selma, Alabama." He goes, "I've lived life." And so the guy turns around, he says to the owner, he goes, "Jesus Christ, this dog is unbelievable. You're selling him for, why? How come just $200? And the guy goes, "Because he's a fucking liar."
Man, I love that fucking joke. Didn't you almost win the comedy golf joke contest?
No, I didn't know. Someone else told that joke at that.
No, I don't know if you told.
Oh, I came in second place. Yeah.
So, guy calls home.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey man, where's the cat?" He goes, "Oh man, the cat died." He's like, "What?" "Yeah, it was on the roof. He died." He goes, "Yo, man, you can't tell me like that."
Yeah.
This is his brother. He goes, "How am I supposed to tell you?" He said, "Dude, you got to warm me up." He said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Dude, when I call, I say, 'Yo, where's the cat?' You go, I think I saw the cat on the roof, but I can't get him down." The next day I call, I go, "Where's the cat?" You go, "Oh, the cat fell off the roof. It's not looking good. I took him to the hospital." The third day I say, "How's the cat?" You go, "You know what? I'm sorry to say the cat is dead." He goes, "I'm sorry." He goes, "You get it?" He goes, "I get it. Sorry." Yeah. He goes, "All right. How's mom?" He goes, "She's on the roof."
He was warming him up with the cat story. It's genius.
I love jokes. You have any golf jokes?
Yeah. Let's see. There's God and Moses are on the first tee, and they go, "Should we wager on this?" And he's like, "Well, you're God, but yeah, we'll $10 a hole." So Moses gets up and he shanks one into the woods on the left. God gets up, he tees it up, He shanks one in the woods on the left. But then all of a sudden, the ball bounces off a tree. It's heading towards the middle of the fairway. A crow swoops down. It goes on the back of the crow. It lands on the green. A gust of wind comes, blows the ball into the hole. Moses looks at God and he goes, "We going to play golf? Or we going to fuck around?"
Yes. Yes, I love that. Guys playing golf.
Yeah.
Hits a ball. Kind of not duck hooks, but he cuts it bad and he hits the clubhouse.
Yeah.
He goes, "You know what? I'll go pick that up later." He hits another one straight on the fairway. One of the guys from the clubhouse comes running and goes, Sir, Mr. Fitzsimmons. He goes, "Oh, my ball, did it? Where is it? Did you find it?" And I think it hit the clubhouse. Yeah. No. And not only hit the clubhouse, it broke a window. He's like, "Shit." And then it rolled into the lobby. One of the waiters was carrying all this food. He slipped. Food everywhere. Bam. Landed on his neck. Broke it. He's like, "Oh my God." And then what happened? He goes, the ball went through the club, through the lobby, outside. A bus was driving. Bus driver had 36 kids. He saw the ball. He swerved. The bus tumbled 18 times. It killed all 36 kids. The guy's like, "Oh my God. What should I do? What should I do?" He goes, "You need to open your stance. And the next time."
You got to finish the swing.
You got to follow through, man.
All right, these guys are on the first tee. And Leonard stands up. He's teeing off first. He puts his tee in the ground. Ball's teed up. He's addressing the ball. And then all of a sudden, like off in the distance at this road you can barely see, there's a hearse drives by. A line of cars. They all got their headlights on it. They're driving by. Leonard takes off his hat, steps away from the ball, and he waits until the entire line is driven by, puts his hat back on, addresses the ball, and his friend goes, "Leonard, that was classy. That was really respectful." And Leonard looks at me, he goes, "Well, would have been 26 years on Saturday."
Hold on. I got one similar to that. There's a guy, my friend tells me a story. This guy took him to Augusta.
Yeah.
This dude has carte blanche everywhere. Every hole, there's a seat for him, an empty seat, and a seat for my friend. Every hole. He's like, "Yo, man, I don't understand. What's the empty seat?" He goes, "Oh, my wife died." He's like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm butchering this joke. Scratch that joke. You guys,
new one.
Delete. Okay.
Yeah. Delete.
Guys playing golf.
Delete the whole thing.
God, it's a great fucking joke too. Keep the joke. Let's go back.
Here we go.
Boom. He goes, so his guy, empty seat everywhere you go, every hole. Boom, boom, boom. Every hole is there. He goes, "What is that seat for?" He goes, "For my wife. She died." He goes, "Oh man, that's sad, but." I mean, we're at fucking Augusta. This is Sunday at Augusta. You had no other friends that would want to sit in this seat? He says, "Yeah, but they're all at the funeral."
All right, listen, Chris, we always round out the podcast with a few questions. Mm-hmm. I ask the same 3 questions of every comedian that comes on. It's called Fastballs with Fitz.
Let's go.
Although we're spitballing on other titles.
Okay.
If you think of one, email me. Okay. Have you ever not finished a set on stage?
Yes. One time I was bombing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily bombing. You know what's worse than bombing? Silence.
Yeah.
And so I got one of those from a dude in the bag. "Go on, man. It's just not your night." And I started trying to heckle him.
Uh-huh.
Comedian, other people are like, "Oh, it's okay, baby. You're going to get another chance." I'm like, oh my God.
You're getting pity.
Is my mom here? And then there was another comedian there that damn near just came and got me. Like, "It's okay, man." And
like walked on stage?
Like I came to the stage like, "Yo."
Whoa.
I was brand new. So I was like, "Oh,
damn.
Is this the equivalent of the light?" Yep.
Jesus, that's a night you go home and you think hard.
You go, "What? I wonder what I can do with this."
And you
degree.
start writing. You start going.
How much is grad school?
But that's the thing. Is like so many people had that night and never went back. It's the people that dug in and said, I'm going to take this anger and this pain and I'm going to go back harder.
Yes.
Right.
You have to.
Right. I have my best sets the night after I bomb.
Sure.
Yeah.
Listen, speaking of Jamie again, we were doing a show in Brea. He's murdering. He had one bad set. And he was like sullen. It's like he's fucking Jamie Foxx, Oscars, Grammys.
Yeah.
And they gave him the business. And then we gave him notes. He came back out fucking murdering.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, live on Sunset Strip, have you heard this story?
No.
Richard Pryor is bombing. Paul Mooney is under the curtain telling him his lines. He doesn't remember.
Oh, shit.
Horrible first set. The second set is all the magic you see right now.
Wow.
At the Palladium.
Jesus. What's the wildest Jamie Foxx party that you've ever been to? Because he's known for throwing big parties.
You know, it's so funny. You hear about him, but nothing happens when I'm there.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Kinda, like I said, these people look up to me for, I don't know, I'm wholesome or something.
Yeah.
But I always get the phone call. Where you at?
Yeah.
What? I said, I left. What time? 3:01. Man, at 3:03, it was bitches everywhere.
Dude, Attell has a whole bit about that. He's like, he calls it right after you left. He goes, all the chicks from Baywatch showed up. They were giving everybody hand jobs. Even the guy with the Babylon 2 t-shirt. Everybody got a hand job.
Right after
you left.
That's how it always felt.
Yeah, I'm the same way because we got families, man. I'm not.
This is pre-family.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So I must have looked like a minister or just somebody that they want to do debauchery with.
All right, finish this sentence. There are two types of people in the world. Go.
There are two types of people in the world: people who are funny and people who ain't funny.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so weird. I was talking to my daughter about her friends, right? And she was telling me, I don't like her and she doesn't like me. And as she was telling me, I started analyzing these people. And then I started analyzing myself. I go, you know why you don't like them or they don't like you? You're funny and they're not funny.
Yeah.
Greg, I don't have one friend that's not funny.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I've never dated a girl who wasn't funny. Mm-hmm. And if she did, I dated, but they never lasted. Yeah. Like, I need funny around me. My mom's funny. My sister's funny. My dad's funny. My aunts are funny. It's been funny around me. So my whole being is comedy.
Yeah.
And so, because I remember I thought this guy in high school, I'm living in South Pasadena. There's not that many brothers. This brother moves to South Pasadena. I'm like, yo, finally. He lives down the fucking street. Mm-hmm. This is going to be my new black best friend. Yeah. Sorry, old white best friend. I got a new black best friend. This motherfucker wanted to have nothing to do with me.
He wasn't funny.
I didn't realize that until late. I was like, oh. Maybe he didn't want to be around somebody. Maybe I was silly. He didn't want to be around me. I was trying to be around him because he was the other brother and he was smooth and shit. But I was like, yo, everybody around me is fucking funny.
And then there's the people that believe they're funny.
Oh, yeah.
And those are worse than people that aren't funny.
Let me tell you my favorite thing to do in the world when I'm fucking hosting a show. When an actor or an actress or a famous singer goes, you know I do stand-up. Mm-hmm. You do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you put me up. Motherfucker, you're next. And I like to see that fucking hair on the back of their neck stand up.
Right.
And that bead.
Yeah.
And they look, man, I just want to get out of here. No, stay.
Yeah.
Because we're the only fucking profession that people do that shit to.
No, it's like when you see roasts and the network always wants famous people, so they get some TikTok star to come on or Justin Bieber and they go up and they roast and it's like, oh, this is fucking painful. And you see, they're not having fun.
No, they're just reading jokes.
Yeah. Last question. What's the hackiest bit that you've ever done?
I'm so original.
That's an unfair question for Chris Spencer.
This wasn't hacky, but it was just a topic that everybody was doing at the time. It was during the OJ trial and during Rodney King. And a famous comedian stole it and did it on his special too. And I'm sure you can guess who it was. I used to have a joke about Florence and Normandy. Some people stopped Reginald Denny's truck and dragged him out of the truck and beat him up. I said, let me tell you something. If you jump in front of my truck, your ass would be, you would be asphalt. I'd drive over you. That's your ass, and then I'd back up, and that's your fault. Yo, that shit used to kill.
Dude, whoever stole that, they deserve it. They
that's
get
your
it.
Ass and your fault.
That's great. All right. Finally, we go out with a segment called Talk Your Way Out of It, and then I'm going to let you go because you've been a generous guest with your time.
I love comedy.
This is called Talk Your Way Out of It. I'm going to give you a situation, and I'm going to be the person that you have to explain yourself to, and you're going to talk your way out of this situation. Okay. It could be embarrassing. It could be awkward, but you can handle it.
Let's go.
An open micer asks you to come on his podcast. You tell him you are in production on a show and won't be available for about 4 months. A week later, he sees you playing golf at Hanson Dam. You got a beer in your hand. You're with Cedric and George Lopez. Talk your way out of it.
What's up, Mike? You good? Yeah. So you're mad that I come? Was the podcast today? It was today? My fucking assistant. I swear to God, I told her to put all the shit in my calendar. And you know what? She's fired. She's fired, man. Have you ever met Cedric? George? This is the guy, Mike, I told you who has that hell of a podcast. Yo, you know what? I'm going to get them on the podcast. And sorry again. Sorry about that.
You get them in and you're out.
Yep.
I love it.
My favorite thing to do in the world is if there's a bigger star around me, people are talking to me like, oh my God, Chris. Yeah. Oh my God, Chris. I'm like, yo, you see Tiffany right there?
Yeah.
I don't want it for, I'm not in this for the fame.
Right.
I like the loot.
Right.
I like how the fame can get me in front of the line at a restaurant or whatever. But I just want to play, Greg, I swear to God, I think I'm becoming famous late.
Yeah.
Because all I want to do is fucking play golf.
Yep. No, people talk about retirement. Oh, he retired and then after 2 years he couldn't take it anymore. He went back to work. I'm going to play golf every day.
I talked to, JP Williams is my manager. He still does stuff with Bill Engvall. Mm-hmm. That motherfucker plays golf. He has like 2 or 3 houses around the country, and he plays. And I think they're all on country clubs. He plays golf, and that's
I think Ron White goes on the road and plays every place.
I played with Ron before.
Yeah,
I'm playing golf
every day on the road. He flies in on a private jet early so he can get in around the golf. Yeah, right. That's the way to do it.
That's how I want to be.
All right, so let's play golf together.
Let's go. Where's your jet? I got Jet Suite X.
Don't you belong to a club or something?
I belong to a few clubs.
No, you don't.
No, just one club.
Yeah. Which one?
Right there. Spanish Hills Country Club.
Oh, nice.
It's a little drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's go.
All right, let's do it, man. I can't wait. And I'll pay my guest fees. I'm not expecting you.
Nobody pays.
Stop it.
Nobody pays.
How much is the guest fee?
First round.
How much is the guest fee?
Don't worry about it. The same. Whatever you're about to give me for this is what you're paying.
Chris Spencer, if you want to check him out, go to chrisspencer.com.
No, I think that's down.
Do you have a website?
I don't know if people.
Because I looked it up. I Googled you, and I didn't see a website.
I don't know if I didn't know if they were back.
Well, it's a place to direct people, which directs them somewhere else.
Okay.
Like tour dates, merchandise.
Got you.
If you got a special on Netflix, it directs them to that. Podcast links them to that. Uh-huh. It's your hub.
Okay. I mean, right now, it's just my Instagram and my Facebook.
You got a lot of Instagram followers. You got like 250,000 Instagram followers.
Yeah. Is that a lot?
That's a lot. Yeah, that's fucking good.
Compared to my friends.
You could literally be an influencer. With that number, you could call Nike. You could call anywhere and say, can I get some free shit? And I'll give you a plug. And they'll send you 10 pairs of new sneakers. You like swag? We already talked about that.
I love swag. I might name my next kid Swag.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, man.
All right.